Hello folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's such an honor to be here, to be able to read for you. So for those of you who are brand new, welcome to the channel. And for those of you who are seasoned Unicorn Light Taroters, thank you so much for joining us again, for all the subscribers and all of wonderful people who are coming here today and joining with us. So today I thought what we would do, recently I did a career path. What is your career path, and give you some insight into what would be perfect for you to do as a career. And I thought what we would do is go one step further today. I'm going to link that other video career path down below with the timestamps. But I thought what we would do is specifically starseeds. There are a lot of starseeds in this generation. And for those of you who don't know what starseeds are, very quick explanation. They are entities that incarnated in human bodies in this lifetime to be able to help Earth transition into a brand new 5D realm. So they're coming in, they're leaders, they're empaths. They've often had really tough lives coming in because when you're a starseed and you come in and you integrate into a human form, you have to understand how human behavior and all of that nastiness and negativity and all that, unfortunately, that abuse and all that other stuff that happens in human nature. You have to understand it in order to be able to rise through it or transform it and teach others how to transform it. So a lot of starseeds have had really tough lives and are extremely empathic, but you're triggered at certain times in your life to remember your coding. You have within your system light coding. And you're really here in this lifetime to be able to shed the patriarchy, to pull those systems down and move into sort of a new earth. And a lot of starseeds are in and around, and they have very specific kind of needs in some ways, because a lot of them feel as though they're very alone, feel not quite in their own skin, don't feel comfortable in their own skin, in their human form, and definitely feel alone, a longing to go home in a way that's just way beyond sort of what normal people feel. And again, it is normal to be a starseed, but they are entities that have been within many lifetimes been preparing for this lifetime to come down to the earth and really teach, as an example, how to integrate or release fear and move in again into this idea of this new earth. So I thought what we would do today is actually channel Palladian energy, which is an ancient energy. It is a star system, and for a lot of starseeds, they are Palladians. Again, you know, if you look this up on Instagram, yes, Instagram, everywhere, definitely Google, there's different variations of different star systems, and all of them have a slightly different variation of why they're here and what attributes they have to offer the world. And how if you can find out if you are a starseed. Although I feel as though if you clicked on this video and you're still here, there is a really good chance that you're a starseed. So there's been a lot of activation recently, a lot of waking up into the knowledge of who you are. And again, we're here for supporting for starseeds today to get you some really accurate and specific information from your mother planet. Really is what we're doing, and to give you that very specific support today for your career path, or where it is that you are specifically at this moment in time. This is a timeless reading. This is here to support you in your own development. Again, you have been training for this for many lifetimes, even though I feel as though a lot of starseeds are feeling very overwhelmed, and they're usually very humble not being able to cope with the idea of being leaders or being out there. And I think standing in your own authority is something that will be happening very, very soon. So that's why another reason why we're standing in solidarity with you today. The other thing to remember with Starseeds is that this is not a lifetime to come back and learn new things. That's not to say that you won't be constantly putting yourself out there and taking on new information, but really the lifetime for Starseeds in this generation is to bring back the old and beautiful ways of being before the patriarchy came in and sort of and shifted the sort of paradigm from light to darkness. So remember, the easiest way of seeing this is the light is information and darkness is fear and lack of information. So starseeds are really here to bring that information of old and integrate it back onto this new earth. And whatever happens on this earth, we can see there's a lot of shifts, a lot of sort of crumbling, a lot of sort of rising up. And this is definitely the time for starseeds to be here. You incarnated with many different souls. You're not supposed to do this on your own. It seems like a lot of work, and that's why we're here to support you today. So this is very specific information for you. Information that we're channeling from your actual home planet, the Palladians. So again, you might be sort of in and around slightly different star systems, but the Palladian energy that we will be working with today, that I can already feel is here, should support you in a way that should sort of feel as though you're home. And that's what we want to do for you today. So without further ado, again, this is a timeless reading. We have 3 piles here specifically for you starseeds. So I thought what I would do is I did put my magnets. I love doing this. You have the words with the magnets. Now I do know what the words are, but I don't know which pile has each word, and I know that you don't either. So when we turn over these words should give you some kind of context for the reading, just an idea of where we're going with this, a little bit of extra information. So that's what we're doing for you today. So we're going to ground into our energy, and we're going to call in our star energy, our star family, our Palladian energy here, who have already been here and definitely have been with me for the next couple of days and sort of pushing me to do, not pushing me, but asking me very nicely to move forward and do this reading for you today. So again, we're going to ground into our energy, and please take as much time as you possibly need to resonate with whichever pile is calling your name. The timestamps will be down below as always, so you can go right in and get your messages straight from your home planet. So let's go ahead and move these out for now. So pile 1, if you chose pile 1, we are channeling Palladian energy here, starseeds. We're going to get you, this is a timeless reading, we're going to get you as much information as we can about your career path, where it is you are specifically in your development, and as much support as we can get for you in this lifetime, particularly in this moment. So okay, so your word is was. So for context, I'm feeling as though I'm getting the understanding that you are definitely shedding old skin. Who you were is completely different. I feel as though with you, pile 1, you've definitely gone through many incarnations in this lifetime, but there's been a huge shedding of who you were, and you're moving into a brand new development. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. Queen of Summer, listening to your heart, intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others perhaps too much, loving, comfortable, emotional, and intuitive. So this is your first, I'm going to put this over here, your first card, and we have I can praise abundance wherever I see it. So you're definitely moving into this brand new way of being. Master Jesus, forgiveness. You're on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. Okay, unexpected. We have the moon card here, the moon oracle deck, and this is reversed. And then we have contemplation, 0, which is Wonderful here. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles reversed, and we have the World reversed, and we have 21 up here. So let's just let's just take a minute. Here, I'm going to put where it was. So there's definitely a shedding and moving into a new way of being. So the first message that I'm getting for you, pile one, is now we want to be very clear here. Starseeds definitely are here to bring in a new paradigm. When I say a new paradigm, it's actually the old paradigm of light. But it's definitely working into the understanding of the new feminine rising. Now, I want to be really clear here. It doesn't mean that the divine masculine is falling. It means that the divine masculine and feminine are reuniting in a brand new way in this lifetime in the 5D reality that we've just shifted into, and most of you have shifted into, especially if you are starseeds. Now, I know there's been some ups and downs recently, especially with you, pile one, and for some of you who are out there going, I can't take any more unexpected stuff. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm feeling very sort of, in some ways, if you've isolated yourself, or you're feeling as though this new information is taking you to a place that's both profound but profoundly lonely because you're not sure what to do with it. That's what we're here for today. So I feel as though there's been a profound shift with you, pile one, where you've shifted into the blessings of being, I'm being told, which is your true form in starseed prophecy. But this can be very confusing for you because it really is sort of outside of the societal norms, and what society really has told you can achieve and be. You now know, if you want to go into the very basics of the matrix, you now know that all of that really is a construct. And even though you can feel it and you've integrated that knowledge because you've just been triggered recently, feel as though there's been a lot of overwhelming, a lot of tears, both grateful and not fearful exactly, but wondering what your next move is. It's wonderful to be in a place where you have this sort of landing strip in a way as an airplane, this firm foundation of knowing who you are, but then not knowing how to integrate that and move on can be very confusing and feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And also, when you look out onto your outer or external life, none of that really makes sense anymore to you, pile one. So if this is resonating with you and that's where you are, you have ultimate support from your star system. You really do. You are not alone. I want to remind you, if you did get through, I know it's a little bit more of a lengthy intro than I normally do, but if you did get through the intro, there is a reminder that you did not incarnate here on your own, and the physical beings around you. 2020 is a huge year for starseeds actually meeting up physically with those that they are supposed to bond with and move through the earth with, the new earth with. Now, you may have your scattered, people here and there online in certain communities, but I feel as though the support for you, the physical support, doesn't feel as strong as it could. And you do feel as though you're doing this on your own. Well, you're not. You're absolutely and completely supported. Now, the angels are here too, but we are channeling Palladian energy, which is slightly different, which is definitely different energy. And there is a profound support for understanding how beautiful you are, and acknowledging what you've gone through to get here. It was not easy being incarnated into a human system, into a human body, in order to sort of move through what it is that you're doing in this lifetime is not easy. And in taking on the human experiences of what you've been through, it's been a long haul for you, regardless of age, pile one. And there is a tremendous amount of beauty and support. Now, the first message, the main message that I'm getting for you, even though you have been triggered and you feel as though all of this is happening and like light speed, all this information is getting downloaded. And I think for the first time, you've been downloaded throughout your life, but you're actually feeling the downloads this time. So this is why you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, they want to remind you that you're feeling the downloads is because you've shed the old, remember, you've shed the old version of you in a way that you can now be uniquely sort of watch and integrate the downloads in a brand new way. Whereas before they were downloaded before, the downloads that you were getting and the triggers that you were getting, the information that was downloading was downloading into your system where you were sort of aware of it, but not really. It was sort of done in a way that you could still, let's just say, get on with your life. I feel as though what's happened for you recently, pile one, is that everything's been on sort of systems hold, and you're watching all of these downloads, you're getting all of this information. And for some of you who feel as though you might be going a little bit insane, you're absolutely not. You're at the level of existence where you've shed enough, where you can actually feel and see these downloads coming in. And it is good for you to take this time. For those of you who are like, I don't know if I can be in a normal world, I don't know what I'm supposed to be. Take the time to sort of resurrect the understanding of who you are, and to make this new foundation really firm for you. I'm going to list a few things down below for those of you for a little bit more support on the internet. There's a few Google there's one, I think I posted on one of my Facebook sites yesterday. There's a waking up, there's a starseed called to STARSEEDS. I think it's like half an hour long. I'm going to put that down below. There is a lot of support for you around. You are not doing this alone. What's going on for you now is this true understanding of forgiveness of what you've been through in your human existence so far, rising into the divine feminine in a brand new way, really understanding who you are without having to, in any way, shape or form, having to explain yourself anymore, being of light to the new divine masculine that needs amazing support from the divine feminine that's rising up to be able to shed the old version of the divine masculine. So for some of you out there who are healing relationships, and specifically father relationships, and releasing the sort of the old version of the patriarchy, or the old version of what it is to be male, the ego, all of that stuff, like the male version of what it is that we are to transcend in this lifetime. For those of you who are specifically going through that, it is a beautiful time for you to forgive all of that father past relationship stuff. That is the last thing for you to do in order to understand the human development and how people work and how people treat each other, and understanding that we are, the world has been working on a very limited basis through the idea of structure, of fear. Most people do not understand that beyond the system there is another way to live. Now, you've always understood that, whether you actually lived beyond the system or whether you just isolated yourself, and not integrating yourself from beyond the system, but understanding that you can't be part of the system. This is your time to actually move in beyond the system and integrate yourself fully into the being that you are supposed to be, that you actually are. So for those of you who are a little bit concerned about how you're going to live this quote unquote life of yours, this normal life of yours, the answer is very simple. You're not. There is nothing normal about your life, and there is nothing normal about how you will proceed in this time moving forward. You have ultimate support, and you will have the support that you need, and it will come in unexpected ways. The way in which your energy is working now, pile one, is very different. Your frequency is very different now. You've moved into, in essence, a coding of light. So the type of abundance that you're pulling back to you is working in a different way than you've ever worked before. All you have to do is release and trust, and what you need will come to you. There's very little that you have to do now. Your word is effortless. Effortlessness. It really is. Moving into, for those of you who, and again, this is not gender specific, but for those of you who are here and resonate with the understanding that you are here to support the divine feminine, the new version of the divine feminine, and release the old angst of what's been done to the divine feminine. Standing in your power in a feminine way is absolutely brilliant. This is what you are here to do. This is the last part of your development as you move into your path here on this divine earth. For those of you who have been working through the masculine side of oneself, and again, this has got nothing to do with gender, this masculine and feminine, we both have both. If we're not equally balanced, we're not going anywhere. That's just the way it works. But for those of you who have been, you have dumbed down the hatred of the divine masculine that's maybe reared its head as the patriarchal, or again being angry with figures in your life that were male. This is your time now to integrate that knowledge and move beyond that, and really integrate the idea of the understanding, from the idea to the understanding of who you are, by really embracing the divine feminine and all of the beauty of the receptive qualities of the divine feminine without having to feel as though you are protecting them. So this is something that you are moving into now. I can praise abundance wherever I see it. Again, the way in which you're manifesting, the way in which you are seeing abundance in your life is absolutely wonderful. You really are able to look back on every aspect of your life and say, oh my goodness, I did have to go through that. You are removed from your past, again, was in a very specific way. The way in which you will present yourself and integrate yourself into the world, even the way in which you will approach trying to make money or trying to survive in this world has shifted. The idea of survival has shifted into one of thriving. You are definitely there. And for those of you, again, who are feeling confused about whether you can do this, you absolutely can. That peace and forgiveness that lives in your heart is there for a reason. You have moved into this brand new way of being. Now, this is brand new in a way that might frighten you, but it's brand new in a way that this is where you are in order to move forward, to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. So there's no sort of quote unquote trying to figure things out anymore. You are working in a very intuitive way of moving forward. There's no calculating your next move or your next path. This is just you easing into wherever it is that you're supposed to be. So know that this is a place that you have been moving into for a really, really long time. So please celebrate. They want you to, your starseeds, they want you to celebrate the fact that you're even here and the fact that you've even gotten this far. Your next move, in this lifetime is definitely going to be led with light. You don't have to worry about it. For the first time, you are connected. You can act. You've always been connected with your star system, but you're actually physically in control of being in that connection, because you can feel those downloads. You can feel all of that. There should be a lot of not only releasing, but joyful happiness. For those of you who have always felt alone, there is an aspect of self that no longer feels alone. You do feel that support, and it's really, truly beautiful. So Pile 1, there's nothing for you to worry about. Standing in your own femininity, bringing back that femininity, those feminine wiles in your own way without apology is where you are. Definitely shedding the idea of the old notion of the divine masculine, moving into that new version where you can help the new divine masculine move into their own sense of power, going through your life and being able to systematically just forgive everyone in a brand new way. It's almost like you're standing outside of yourself and your old life is completely gone. But this is where you need to be. Take the time to celebrate where you're at. You are completely working outside of the system now, and that's exactly where you need to be. These downloads are coming in. You've been triggered. Again, please feel free to go and really immerse yourself into the link and links down below, knowing that you're not alone. You have woken up. Pile One, and it's time for you to move forward and be who you are. Remember, many lifetimes you have been preparing for this very day and this very time in your life. So this is an incredible time for you, Pile One. I hope we gave you some support and beauty, because you absolutely deserve it. Do let me know if this resonated with you. I love a thumbs up if you so desire. If this is, I'm going to be doing a lot more starseed and Palladian energy videos. If this is energy and support you feel as though you need and want in your life, feel free to subscribe. And if not, that's wonderful too. Also love hearing from you, always. So please feel free to leave me a comment down below. And until we meet again, Pile One, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile Two, this is your timeless reading. If you are here, this is your starseed reading, where you are on your path, specific support for you, and your word is woman. So we do know that in this lifetime, there is definitely the rising of the divine feminine. And if you have picked Pile Two, this is where you are at. Definitely to, we're bringing in the old from the divine feminine, but it's in a much more powerful way. And I want to be really clear, that doesn't mean that this has nothing to do with the divine feminine, the divine masculine. By the rising of the divine feminine, which is, again, what you are here to do in this lifetime, there's a new idea and understanding, a cosmos around the idea of the divine masculine, and you're here to bring that in too. So Prince of Summer, yes, for you, cultivating the next generation of divine masculine. For those of you who picked Pile Two, you're definitely to work with the essence of the example of the new divine feminine, and teaching and being an example to our new generation, not just for the divine feminine, but for the divine masculine. And again, this may not have anything to do with gender, because we're getting to the point where gender is becoming fluid. But this really is about the balancing of both divine feminine and divine masculine, bringing back the old and supporting it in a brand new way. So romantic, captivating, dramatic, flirtatious, falling in love suddenly, being swept off your feet, the need to stay grounded during a very emotional experience. So this is for you. What do we have? My life is about my relationship. So this is definitely where you are, Pile Two. Care and compassion, choose to be love, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. Resilience, reversed. Okay, we have the stave here, Ace of Staves, reversed, Four of Cups here, and then we have the King of Wands. So there's definitely, as in Pile One had more of the direction of the divine feminine, I feel as though for you, Pile Two, you are absolutely working with the divine masculine, shedding in such a way, and shedding the sort of, the word I keep getting, and I don't really like this word, but it does exist, the hatred and the fear around the understanding of the divine feminine. You're really working with that energy in a really divine, beautiful way. You are shedding it in your own terms. Now that is also going through your star system. That's also going through your body. So there's been some days or moments where there's been this intense heaviness that's been in and around your sort of aura. Our Palladian energy here wants you to know that they are working with you to clear that out. That isn't you. In your human body, we take on as empaths, we do take on this energy, and this energy has been in and around you as you shed, but they want you to know that it's not piercing the inner you, the internal you, so you don't have to worry about it. But for those of you who have had like sort of bouts of depressions or intense anxiety and fear kind of out of nowhere, this is this energy shedding, and occasionally it sort of leaks in, but you're being protected from that and you're moving on to the next stage. For those of you who are working with your divine feminine, but you're working with your divine feminine in a way, so some star seeds actually work with the divine feminine first, and they rise into the divine feminine, and then they're in a position to turn around and help the divine masculine. What you're doing is completely different. For your path, pile 2, which is quite unique and really beautiful, you're rising at the same time with the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Now, this could be for several different reasons, and again, this is a general reading, but for some of you, you are raising sons. For some of you, you are dealing with specific kinds of abuse or specific kinds of negativity that happened to you in your human body in this lifetime from the masculine. We're not saying the divine masculine, we're just saying the masculine. We're moving toward the divine masculine. So for you, pile 2, what you're doing is you're rising up at the same time with this divine masculine, this divine feminine, and the way that it's worked out is that sometimes you don't feel as balanced as you could, because you're doing this in a sort of, not in a unique way, but in a very brave way. Every starseed is brave to be here on this earth right now, and to be wanting to be part of the new world is very brave. But I feel as though for you, the way in which you've been doing this has caused you some heartache. And specifically what it's done is that it's kept you in the present moment in a very unique way. It's kept you in a present moment where you couldn't see the beauty of the future. So while you're quite good at staying in the present moment and keeping yourself there, there's no notion of the beauty of what you could move into. So for pile 2, your specific message is pull in the energy of the new. Pull in the energy of your brand new beginning and the future. You are moving into the concept, which is no longer a concept, but you're moving into the true understanding that time is limitless and that we have different existences of where we're at. So the past, present, and future actually exist simultaneously. Now, your memory code specifically has been activated, pile 2, and you understand this intrinsically in every cell of your body. So when you are thinking about your future, for those of you who cannot see a future and do not know, I'm very honestly confused about your next move, your path. Are you on it? Are you doing what you should be doing? The message that I'm getting from your star system is to breathe into the energy of timelessness and really meditate into the understanding that your future is already there. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to move into a specific future that you've already designed for yourself. Not only have you designed for yourself, pile 2, but you're already living in your future. Sounds a little bit nuts, but trust me, you're doing this. You're putting yourself into this a little bit more anxiety than you need to be. You are already living where you need to be in the future, and you've already sort of reached out and put into place what it is that you need to move forward. Now, the care and compassion that you've had has been dumbed down. Everybody's born with care and compassion. It's society and the norms and how we're brought up that sort of we either dumb them down, or we've been so hurt we shut down. Now, for you, the care and compassion that you have this insane kind of care and compassion. I mean, you really do have this care and compassion for people and for animals. You would lay down your life for justice and standing for animals and people who have not been treated correctly. I mean, I can absolutely see you. You're probably piled to the sort of people when the PETA, I know I am, when the PETA advertisements come up suddenly and like animals have been treated terribly. I mean, there is something in your heart that just explodes and says no, so I feel as though that part of you is being integrated in a really beautiful way. There's been parts of your life where you've had to dumb that down. You've had to dumb that emotionality down because you didn't know how to deal with it. You were afraid that the emotionality would literally be a wave, like a tidal wave, and pull you under. Now, the message that I'm getting very specifically for you, pile 2, is that through emotionality, through our emotions, we can decipher the real truth. And it's people who do not deal with their emotions stay in, what we call, quote unquote, the matrix. You have moved beyond that anyway. So this is a new integration of your emotions, a letting, really allowing that care and compassion to come up and overwhelm you. In a way that you can, I think the way in which it overwhelms you, Pile 2, it's like, this isn't human. I mean, nobody can have this much care and compassion and still live and, and walk outside of the house and be normal. It is possible. It is possible. And this is how you're doing it. You are doing it because you're working within the energy of the masculine and feminine, and you're allowing these emotions to come up and integrate in a way that's very powerful and you were not able to do before. And you have, again, full support and able to do that. That will take you to your next path. For those of you who are truly afraid that you don't have the resilience to do this, that your emotions will come in and they will, wipe you out, that is absolutely not true. When you allow these emotions in a way that you've probably never quite allowed before, they integrate into your light codes in a brand new way, and they actually ground you into who you are and into this identity that you have actually formed outside of the human identity. If this makes any sense, I hope it does, in a way that will ground you and will give you the confidence that you've been lacking. So by allowing yourself to be really immersed in this beautiful energy of emotion, you will actually integrate into this brand new version of self. And again, you do feel as though you have been alone, and you do feel as though you are the sort of person, you definitely are the person that's been holding things together, holding the fort. You're a great friend. You're a great mother. Even if you don't have children yet, I promise you're a great mother. You've been a great mother in many, many past lives to either physical children or other people. You've carried this wisdom with you in many, many, many lifetimes. And this is the wisdom that you bring into this lifetime. Pile 2, you are the great mother archetype. However that means to you, and again, this is a general reading, however this information integrates into your world, whether it's a physical mother, or whether it's, mother to the earth, mother to animals, you are the great mother. And this is the energy that you're coming into. Allow those emotions in. It will propel you into your path of great mother. Forget about the resilience. You have it. Forget about not feeling as though you have the resilience. I promise you, Pile 2, you would not be here if you did not have what it took to be here. I want to remind you, you have been trading for this for many, many lifetimes. This is not your first rodeo, Pile 2. You do not need to worry. For those of you who are missing that support, again, for empaths, that's a great support. But if you're a starseed, you are missing that great support. Remember, you are from the stars. The Palladium, please look it up. Please look up that support and find your specific support for you and who you are in this lifetime. There are some doubts out there that you do not have what it takes to step into the power that you know that you were supposed to do in this lifetime. You do not feel as though you have the smarts in order to do what you're supposed to do in this lifetime. You feel weighed down by the understanding of it. And that's just because the emotionality that you have been dumbing down, you do not see it as your greatest power, as your greatest ally yet. Let those floodgates in. Let it in. Take a day off work if you possibly can, if you need a little bit of space to integrate into this energy. Once you let those floodgates in and integrate into this emotionality, this deep well of emotionality that you have, it will create the confidence and the beauty. You will be very much in line with the great mother archetype of who you are. And really, again, with the rising of the balance that you have, some of you may even be Libras or have a lot of Libra in your chart. So, the way in which you want to move in this lifetime is very much about balance, instead of rising up into the divine feminine and then helping out the divine masculine, which is the way a lot of starseeds are doing that. You are rising with both. You are doing things in a very unique way here. So please give yourself a break. And for those of you who are raising sons, for those of you who are working with the balance of the divine feminine rising up, shedding the old masculine and renewing into the energy of the divine masculine, you are doing a wonderful job. This is not easy work. Please give yourself a break here. Give yourself that care and compassion that you need. I'm definitely getting not only self-love here, give yourself that space. You're very hard on yourself, pile 2. You've been getting a lot of downloads recently. You've been sort of seesawing back a little bit, and that's what happens when you're trying to balance the way in which you're trying to do that. But you will reach that plateau once you let these emotions in and let them fully integrate and really hold on to the essence of this deep well of care and compassion that you have, that you really felt at times in your life, that if you really let it in, that you could not live in this human world because you had too much care and compassion. There would not be a space for you in this world. I promise you, in this new world, and we've already shifted into 5D, you are needed. And that deep well of compassion and that archetype of the Divine Mother is needed. And you are ready for this. So for those of you who are resonating with this, pile 2, you are ready to move into this beautiful archetype of woman and divine feminine, and this balance that you have between the divine feminine rising and shedding of the masculine and moving into the support of the divine masculine. I know it's shifty. I know at times it feels as though it's a very delicate balance, but you've got this. You've always had this. You were able to balance this from the beginning. That's why for some of you, again, general reading, for some of you who are listening to this, you are raising sons, or you're in and around masculine energy and you're helping to rise into that divine masculine. You were always able to do this. So really reach into that beauty that you have and don't be afraid to like pour it out into the world. Again, you have support. Please go down into underneath the timestamps, and if it really is calling your name, I definitely want you to watch the video on the Starseeds and get the support that you absolutely deserve. Again, you're not on your own. So pile 2, if this resonated with you, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. Love hearing from you in the comments. Feel free to subscribe. I am going to do a lot of more Starseeds energy kind of readings here. So if this is the kind of support you feel like you need and want at this time, feel free to subscribe. And if not, that's perfectly fine too. It was an honor to read for you. And until I meet you again, pile 2, take care. Okay, pile 3, this is your timeless reading here. Specific information and support and information from your star. For star seeds here from the Palladian energy. And your word is could. So this is your positive move forward. You could, you will, you are. So let's see what we have here. 7 of Summer. I love this. No more procrastinating. Your power comes from making a decision. Confusion that arrives from overanalyzing the options. So the first energy that I'm getting is the practical mind is not working for you right now, pile 3, which is totally fine. And honestly, I get that. Sometimes when so much is going on and we feel a little overwhelmed, what we tend to do, and perfectly normal, we are human after all. We're actually not human, but we've incarnated into human bodies, and what it is that we do is we really get into this idea of, you know, if we not control exactly, but if we get really pragmatic and think about everything down to the last minuscule kind of detail, then we can put everything in place and put it all together like a jigsaw. And this is not working for you right now, pile 3, but we're going to get you the support that you need. The essence of my very desire can be fulfilled. You've moved beyond that understanding of the pragmatic personality now. In fact, I would say for most of you, pile 3, the personality has shifted and has moved. It no longer is there anymore. Devotion here, Krishna. Trust your spiritual guidance. Of course, your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. That is really important for Starseeds to understand, because they tend to be very hard on themselves. They tend to isolate themselves because the level, especially Palladian energy, the level of compassion, the level of empath, what it is that you've been through in this lifetime, they tend to be overwhelmed by it and therefore isolate themselves. I want to remind you again in the intro that was a little bit lengthy there, more so than normal. But if you did get through it, you did not incarnate here on your own. You're not supposed to do this work on your own. You were never supposed to do this work on your own. And as a reminder, this is not your first rodeo, pile 3. You have been training for this lifetime for many lifetimes. Attraction in reverse, we're gonna sort that out, so don't worry about it. Staves 10, 10 of staves here. We have devotion being rewarded. We also have the sun coming in, justice reversed, and the 7 of swords reversed. So there's definitely a new shift, a new way of being. Your personality has fallen away. I think for some of you that's a little bit intimidating, which is perfectly normal and natural. The way in which you have worked before, and we've already touched on that, the way in which you have worked before with your practical mind, there is an essence of control there that has worked for you before. When you felt overwhelmed, a little bit of overthinking, but you were able to do this and put this together, keep hold of things, take care of business, all of these sort of understandings of who you are and kept you together and kept you sane. And I do this, in comments here because you are sane, and the way in which you had these coping mechanisms, pile 3, before are just not working for you anymore. But here's the reason why they're not working for you, okay? You have the support that you need, and you've moved beyond them. You just don't need them anymore. And for those of you who are sitting out there who feel like a hollow shell and saying, oh yeah, it's great, I no longer have there's aspects of my personality that, that definitely still exist, maybe my sense of humor, otherwise I'd be dead, right? And other aspects, my compassion is still there, but I don't really have any understanding of the old me anymore, and it sounds like amazing, but it's really confusing and really disheartening, and I don't know what to do next. It's very overwhelming, and it's not as glamorous as it seems, right? For those of you who are right in that understanding, again, we've got you. You're not holding on to any of the old coping mechanisms anymore. They've fallen away, but you're further along in your development than you think. For those of you who are like, everything's fallen away, but I've not moved on to the next step yet, I don't know what the next step is, that's absolute rubbish. You are in the next step. I promise you, you have the support. You're a lot further in your development than you give yourself credit for and that you even know. Your devotion and unconditional love has been recognized. And, the Palladian energy here, like what we are here to do for you today is to give you this loving support and let you know that you are loved unconditionally, and really allow what that means to integrate into every cell in your body. They want you to understand that every cell in your body has been upgraded and activated. That is nuts. You're also in a human body. What you've been through and what you've done in this lifetime is absolutely incredible. And they really want you, I can see a lot of this energy and they're clapping. They want you to just really recognize how far you've come in such a small amount of time. Now, even if you're in your 40s or even if you're in your 60s, this, again, you have been training for this in multiple lifetimes, but you've come into this very tumultuous lifetime. This is existence on this earth right now. We're at a critical point. Anything that happens on earth, what happens on earth now, will definitely affect other star systems. This is a huge time in human history. So no matter how long or short your life has been thus far, what you fit into your lifetime thus far has been incredible. So they want you to take a little bit of time and really integrate into your knowledge and knowing how loved you are. There is no conditions on this love. They want, when people say you are loved unconditionally, everyone, yeah. But do you know what that feels like? They want you to know that you really are. They want you to take that in and really allow yourself the emotion of that. Have yourself that cry. Really sit in your heart space that's really been opened up and should be opening up in this reading right now of where you've been. It is incredible. So the devotion that you have, and just the fact that you have devoted your life to come back into this lifetime to do the work that you're doing, it is not for the faint-hearted. And you know, pile 3, that it's not for the faint-hearted, because you, of all of the piles, I feel as though have come across this really negative energy, and this projection upon your soul since you've been born. I mean, I feel as though for some of you, you've been walking through quicksand. Will I go under? What's going on? So for those of you who have chosen pile 3, you know more than anything how difficult it is to live on this earth, what it is, the fear, the understanding. You felt it yourself. You put yourself into that dark world. You put yourself into that shadow self. You know fear intimately in a way that a lot of people don't. And honestly, in a lot of way that a lot of star seeds haven't integrated, or haven't not integrated, but haven't worked in the way that you have. You've put yourself into that darkness, and really, I mean, into the point where you've even met and seen evil. Like, you know what that looks like. You absolutely know what that looks like. You've been touched by it. You've come out of it. You're a light being. It can't stay. None of that essence can stay with you, so you don't have to worry about it. This is not a reading to freak you out. Far from it. We're just proving to you that you have literally gone through hell and back and pulled yourself out of that mire. So they want you to understand that unconditional love. They want you to really take into every cell of your being what you've done so far and how you've done it. It is absolutely incredible. You're no longer holding on to hold any of your old systems. And again, that is fine. You are ready to move forward, whether you think you're ready or not. And for some of you, you're hesitating. You're like, and we can give you a little bit of an extra tip here. For some of you who feel as though you're on the edge of the cliff and you're, do you walk off it? You're not actually on the edge of a cliff at all. You're actually just walking into a new paradigm. So, this new movement forward is something that you're also working with attraction and manifesting in a completely different way. You may have felt recently that everything that you manifested or you thought you were manifesting either didn't come true, so you're feeling really confused, or it did come true and you realized that you didn't want it. Either way, you've had a crisis of faith recently of, I don't know what I want. And I put all my energy into this and I don't want it. This is not what I wanted. I was doing it for X, Y, and Z reasons, and now those reasons are gone. I don't know what I'm doing. So for those of you who feel a little confused about the next step, they want to remind you that was part of the process. That was just part of every aspect of the old falling away. And to really embrace the fact that you don't have a set system of moving forward now. Really get used to, and just, like an old comfy chair, sit in that chair and really allow yourself to dissolve into this brand new way of being, of just moving forward and trusting that everything will literally come out of nowhere. I know it sounds crazy, but for somebody who has not worked in this direction and just expects things to open up, of course that's not going to happen. That's not you. You've been working with your energy and you've just been downloaded into a new frequency, so everything's going to come to you automatically. Just be clear in your heart's desire about the path that you're on. Really integrate back into your path and know that you're here for a reason. And give yourself that, that the sun is coming. Give yourself that space to really appreciate everything that you've been through and everything that you've shed. For those of you who don't feel as though you have done enough in your life, yeah, I know I'm a starseed, I get it, but I've not really physically done that much. I may have written that book, but it's, 2 people have read it. I may have done this, I may have done that, but it's not really integrated into the world the way that I've wanted. I've not really stood up in the way that I've wanted to. Well, that's about to change, pile 3. For those of you, and again, this is a general reading, so this really isn't about age, because we're moving through the concept of age, all of these constructs, and you're on the other side of that now. But for those of you who've been giving yourself a hard time about, this is taking too long, I'm going to say, regardless of age, pile 3, the message I'm getting for you, you are late bloomers, because when you come into this tremendous power that you've been leading up to, you will take the world by storm, and every little incremental incremental kind of baby step that you've been doing that you didn't think was going to feature, that you didn't think was taking you anywhere, that is all culminating now. And when you rise up, you're going to rise up like the phoenix and take this world by storm. So for those of you who are going, oh, this is taking too long, I haven't done enough, or are doubting your path, that you can even do it, or that you have enough time to do it, or that you don't have enough time to do everything that you want to do, or you've left things too late. You haven't taken I should have done this earlier, I should have done that, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, done, again, could. You did everything in the time frame you were supposed to do. This is your phoenix moment. Everything that you've done, those baby steps are integrating into every cell of your body, and you will move forward in the way that you want. Now, you were always going to be sort of quote unquote late bloomers. You were always going to take your time to do something. But when you integrate into the world, you're going to take the world by storm. And everything that you've been doing to get yourself to that point will be much more obvious when the limelight is on you. So for those of you who have been in and around people who have steadily been sort of moving toward, not the limelight, but moving toward what we consider in the in societal terms, support and success, right? For those of you who are comparing yourself to people who are, far more successful than you, doing what they want or whatever, you were always supposed to do this on your own terms, because, and it's not that you're going to go far surpass them. It's not really about that, but you were always supposed to be a late bloomer, because you were always supposed to do things sort of behind closed doors a little bit. And then when you open those doors, you're like, da-da. The way in which you are supposed to do things is because you had a particularly tough lifetime. There were a lot of past lifetimes that you needed to integrate. You came in with a heavier karma. For those of you who are listening to Pile 3, you probably are actually physically a Palladian. We are channeling that energy today, but there are slightly different star systems, and they all have slightly different ways of interacting in this world, but you probably are a Palladian. And they are the biggest empaths, and they have a huge amount of darkness in order to move through. And again, it could have weighed you down in such a way that it was really frightening. So you had to take your time in order to do this your own way. Everybody has their own way of doing this, but you've been activated recently, and now you're wondering if there's enough time to do what it is that you're supposed to do. Again, the essence of my every desire can be fulfilled. You decided before you came to this incarnation that you were going to take your time to do things on your own terms. And yes, Pile 3, you are still very stubborn. You will always be very stubborn. You will always want to do things a little bit in your own way. And that's fine. You have been supported to do this in your own way. You chose to take your time a little bit. Because let's be honest, Pile 3, there's a little bit of you that's, da-da, here I am. It's not dramatic. Although when you were younger, you may have been a performer. You may have been that sort of person where it's, oh, there they go again. There's an aspect to that personality, and you're ready for that da-da moment. So for those of you who are doubting that you don't have enough time, you haven't done enough to give yourself enough time for you to have that running jump to have your da-da moment. Your da-da moment is basically here. And it may have taken you a little bit longer to get there, but this moment is going to be just as sweet, trust me, as that you've been thinking in your mind. So that little dramatic aspect of self that's really helped you in your creativity and being a very humorous, beautiful soul, and has kept you alive in many certain circumstances because there's a dramatic element of you. You've seen that drama in other people, and you've been able to systematically pull that down and understand it a little bit more because it exists very much in yourself. I don't want to say that you're dramatic, you may have been prone to drama coming in and around your life, but that's something that you shed from within. You're not attracting that drama in your life. Although I will say you'll always love the dramatic performers. You'll always love to be around dramatic entities and beings. That's who you are. And for those of you who, again, who are moving into this brand new way, please take this time, this platform, to really allow, you're moving into brand new beginning, but really allow all of this unconditional love to come in and heal the past and to move forward. Your Dada moment is absolutely happening. You're moving into it. You don't have to worry about any of that. And I feel as though most of you will feel that. So if there's that moment, that sort of anxiety, that slight panic that wants to move in, you can feel it sort of starts tingling in your first chakra, and then it moves up to the heart chakra. I don't have enough time. I don't think I can do this. Just take it out. The minute it starts coming in, you feeling that tingling and that fear wants to come on. Speak to your Palladium brothers and sisters. Speak to your star system. Say, I don't want this. This is the old. I know it's shed. I don't need to do this anymore. Really pull yourself out of that. The dramatic in you will be, will be best served with a bit of laughter, a bit of humor, anything that you can do to just shed that understanding and move forward into this, your da-da phoenix moment that you've been moving forward and preparing for, not just in this lifetime, but in many lifetimes before. And it is well deserved. The world needs you, and they do. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You would not have agreed to incarnate at this time if you did not know you were needed. All right, pile 3, if this resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. A thumbs up, a like would be great. I'm planning to do a lot more of these sort of star seeds kind of reading and support for you guys. So if you feel as though this is energy that you would like, feel free to subscribe. If not, that's wonderful too. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this reading. I know it's slightly different. If it resonated, I always love hearing from you guys. Always, 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 truly and totally. So until we meet again, pile 3, take care. Bye-bye.